Hi, everybody. Jay Privman and Mike Watchmaker back again now to preview this weekend's races on the road towards the Kentucky Derby. And Mike, it's been a pretty stressful time out here in California, but the Santa Anita Derby always is a big race. And this year, we've got 3 top contenders on our Derby Watch Top 20 that are going to be running in this race. It looks like it's going to be a small field, but boy, we've got some quality in here, starting with your current favorite for the Derby right now, and that's Game Winner. Let's take a look at his last race, the Rebel, and let me know what you think of where he stands right now.
Well, I thought Game Winner's race in the Rebel was a terrific performance. I actually, frankly, even though it was his first career defeat, I liked it better than all 4 of his wins last year. And the reason why I say that is because he ran giant off a layoff against an opponent that I like a lot and respect, and who I think is one of the ones on in this Kentucky Derby. So I really like Game Winner's performance, and he's got every license to improve on it. And I don't even think he has to improve to win the Santa Anita Derby, but he's got every license to improve on it. And he's just as solid as a horse can be.
Yeah, certainly a good effort off the layoff. It was his first career defeat, but as you mentioned, a good effort behind Omaha Beach. And one thing I like about this horse, or a couple things I like about him, is that he's relentless. I mean, he always keeps grinding and grinding and grinding. And I don't think the extra distance that he's going to be asked to run, 1.125 miles this Saturday, and assuming all goes well, 1.25 miles in the Kentucky Derby, I think are going to be things that are right within his wheelhouse. But there are a couple other top horses in this race, and let's take a look at those horses right now, beginning with Instagram from Jerry Hollendorfer's barn. Came off of a long layoff to run in the Gotham last time. His best race as a 2-year-old, though, was in the Best Pal at Del Mar, which we're taking a look at.
Well, Instagram finished third, beating a couple lengths in the Gotham. It was his first race since the Best Pal. He had every license to need that race. I'm not sure that he's going to necessarily improve off that race going 2 turns. I think there is some question as to whether or not he's a real 2-turn horse. And there's also a question of whether his brilliant 2-year-old, early season 2-year-old form is going to translate to 3-year-old Kentucky Derby type form. I mean, there's usually a big chasm between those 2 things. And this is going to be a very telling race for Instagram. And it's going to be fish or cut bait, depending on what he does with this on Saturday in the Santa Anita Derby. You know, he might run big, and he could disappoint a lot of folks.
Yeah, the thing I'm still not sure of is whether or not he wants to run this far. He's kind of a blocky built horse. He's obviously very talented. I'm just not sure if these extra distances, this will be his 2-turn debut, 1.125 miles and potentially 1.25 miles is really going to be what he wants. We were talking a moment earlier about Game Winner. His trainer, Bob Baffert, also has Roadster in this race, and he is making his second start off of a lengthy layoff, and his second start since having throat surgery. His story is one that I chronicled in the Derby Watch feature this week. But, Mike, in terms of performance, where do you think Roadster is right now?
Well, I thought Roadster ran big winning an allowance race his first start out this year, and that was an allowance race that was better than an entry-level allowance race because he beat Nolo Contesto in that race. And Nolo Contesto is highly regarded. He's not currently on our Derby Watch list, but we both think he's a capable horse and who's also running in the Santa Anita Derby. So that was better than an entry-level allowance race, and he won it easily off a layoff. And I think he's a very dangerous horse, and I expect a strong performance from him.
Yeah, horse was very highly regarded last year, who's come back quite well. Mike, now let's go to your backyard. The Wood Memorial at Aqueduct on Saturday has 3 horses that are on our current Derby Watch Top 20, including the top 2 finishers from the Tampa Bay Derby. Your thoughts on these horses?
Well, Tacitus won the race over Outshine, and I'm in agreement with you, Jay. I thought Outshine had a terrific trip in this race, and he kind of really had no business losing it. Tacitus had a good trip too, but you know, this was Tacitus's first start off a layoff. It was his first start going 2 turns, and I thought he won by a well-measured margin. And I think that this horse has a lot of potential. I think there's a lot more there than we saw in the Tampa Bay Derby. And I kind of like this horse, and I'm expecting a significant step forward from him form-wise in the Wood Memorial.
Yeah, I certainly liked his race off the layoff. I thought the runner-up had a perfect trip, and it would be hard for me to see him beating the winner off of what happened in Tampa. The other horse on our list is High Cal, who's coming out of the Gotham. I just think this horse is a one-run, one-turn kind of horse, Mike. Maybe he'll prove me wrong in the Wood Memorial, but I just don't think that 2 turns, mile and an eighth is going to be suitable for him. What do you think?
Well, I think we're in disagreement on that score. I think High Cal could stretch out successfully. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to win the Wood Memorial, because when he won the Gotham, it was a race that absolutely disintegrated in the final eighth of a mile, and that's why he got up. He was the only horse that still had any oxygen left in him at that point, so that's why he got up. That in itself was not an indication of what I think will be his ability to stretch out and get a mile and eight. I just think that this horse, he's proven himself at 6, he's proven himself at 7, he's proven himself at 8. I think 9 furlongs will be within his scope. I think he'll be okay going a mile and eight. It's a matter of whether he's good enough.
Well, that's our look at both the Santa Anita Derby and the Wood Memorial. The other race this week that will impact the Derby Watch Top 20 is the Bluegrass Stakes, and it's a kind of a strange situation. There's not any current horse, Mike, on our Derby Watch Top 20. The favorite is Vekoma, who's been on our list, and the only reason we dropped him this week was because there's so many horses with more points right now, and we're getting closer and closer to the Derby, that we really have to be mindful of the points list. But that said, Vekoma certainly will be back on the list with a 1-2 finish in the Bluegrass Stakes, or really any other horse coming out of the Bluegrass. But that's why Vekoma is not currently on the Derby Watch Top 20, but it might be just a temporary suspension from that spot. Also here on DRF.com, you will find a recap of last week's races from Mike and myself. For Mike Watchmaker, I'm Jay Privman. Thanks for watching.